Well, as we get closer to the November presidential election, economic issues and taxes are getting a lot of play on the stump. So we thought it'd be interesting to compare a key part of the major candidates' tax plans. U.S. Bank investment analyst Jim Russell joining us. Good to have you with us, Jim.
Good morning, Brian.
All right, so the key question is how the middle class is doing compared to 4 years ago. Understandably, the candidates have differing opinions on this.
Right.
What do the numbers say?
Well, objectively, Brian, unfortunately, the middle class, and we're going to define that as households with incomes right around $60,000, have stepped back over the last 4 years. Household income is down 8.2%. Now, let me quickly say that regardless of who was in the White House, who is in the White House, we feel that household income would have been under pressure over the last 4 years. There are things that the president controls. There are things that the president does not control, and this is one of them. We feel that there has been pressure, global pressure on wages that will continue, and that has, of course, moved household income lower, and, of course, the very sluggish global economic recovery as well has been a negative for household income. So regardless of who's in the White House, Republican or Democrat, we feel that these trends would have been operative.
All right, you see the ads on both sides, very different approaches. Right. So let's take a look at the average American Midwest family and how they might fare with each candidate based on what they're saying they'll do.
Exactly. Thank you, Brian. What we do is we have some numbers on the screen for our viewers today, and you can see maybe a couple of the comparisons of the tax plans. Of course, we're going to get additional details as we move forward. Let me also quickly add that there will be several deductions that will be taken maybe away or diluted or perhaps watered down, certainly at the high end of income scales, but also may find its way into the middle class tax packages as well. We'll know more a little bit about that. So I think certainly while these numbers are accurate as we know them today, we feel that the actual taxes that a family will pay in Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio will be very dependent upon what kind of deductions they'll have exposure to, and to the extent that deductions are rolled back just a little bit. So we'll know more in a little bit. Please watch for this in the debates that are going to be aired before too much longer.
All right, Jim Russell, our guest from U.S. Bank. And Jim, we know just operating our own family budgets, we can't stay in a budget deficit too long. We can't run too much debt. $16 trillion is the federal debt. Will
Correct.
Either plan reduce that debt?
Yeah, that is the key question, Brian, and it's a very good one. What we're seeing in Europe, and literally this past week, was videotape, and fairly graphic, I might add, of people in Spain that are revolting against higher taxes and reduced social benefits. Both candidates, and whoever's elected to Congress, whoever's elected to the new presidency, or if President Obama is reelected, will need to tackle this element of our budget deficit. And that is, we have $16 trillion of debt, as you know. 41% of the federal spending is for social programs. That's the combination of Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. In aggregate, that is growing at double-digit rates. We simply cannot continue to grow at that rate. Very difficult decisions ahead for the next president, whoever he may be, and of course Congress as well. So some very difficult times ahead. We may be seeing a preview in the United States of what's going on in Europe right now. So again, very difficult decisions. Nobody wants to pay more taxes and get less, but unfortunately that's what's happening in Europe.
And as politicians, nobody wants to make those difficult decisions, especially during the election cycle. But once the election's over, then that has to be addressed.
Not popular stuff, and difficult to be reelected under those circumstances. You're right.
I'm glad neither you or me are running for president.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Jim Russell, and we appreciate U.S. Bank.